Om Shanti. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, now it's a morning. Very warm welcome to each one of you. Special welcome because we have a special brother with us today. So if you need water, it's right at the back. If you want to use a restroom, it's outside of the main door. And may I know the hands, like who are here for the very first time, who doesn't know about Brahma Kumaris? Okay, wonderful. Welcome. Very nice. So let me just give you a short introduction about Brahma Kumaris, where you are today. So Brahma Kumaris is a spiritual organization, and it has more than 8,000 centers around the world in 130 countries, and within the USA we have around 75 centers and sub-centers. New Jersey is the place where we have 3 centers, one in Cinnaminson, one this Edison, and one is Monroe Township. So wherever you are located nearby area, you can visit. At the same time, we have 2 retreat centers in United States. One is Anubhuti in California, and the second one is Peace Village in upstate New York. There we and all the centers are open for everyone all the time. And services given by the centers is free of charge for the community service. So you are most welcome to visit any of the center and know more about it. And if you would like to know more about us and upcoming events, we have few ushers at the back who can help you. You can give your details about your email address and phone numbers while you are stepping out. Okay, before taking any more time from all of you, let me introduce our special speaker today, Brother Khan, who has came all the way from, from where? South America. Wow, little one, you know. So you are here to learn today something? To know more? What is that? More about Brahma Kumaris. Okay, sure. We'll give you those details as well. Oh, why bad thing happens to good people? You are good one, right? I'm sure you are a very good one. And nothing bad is going to happen. And today we have Brother Khan with us to let us know how we can change the bad things into good one, right? Good. So Brother Khan, he is born in Australia and currently living in South America. And since 1975, he is practicing this Raj Yoga meditation as well as he is a teacher. Apart from the spiritual world, he is a professional one too. He is industrialist chemist. And in today's world, especially now when this little one will grow up and go into the industry, there are 3 factors taking place into consideration. One is EQ, IQ, and SQ. EQ, IQ still fine, but the SQ is the spiritual quotient is very much important. And Brother Khan is the one who brought that spirituality to the industry. So we are very fortunate to learn from him how he brought that spirituality to the industry. And today's top, and also he has written around 19 books on leadership, personal and organizational one. Also, he is a consultant and a trainer, given different talks to the multinational companies at international level. So if you want to know more about him, at the end, maybe you will get that opportunity. Okay, so I would like to invite Brother Khan. And today's topic, it was little unsaid, right? What is that? Why bad thing happens to good people, right? We all are very good, but sometimes something happens and we think, why this happens to me, right? And how do we come out of that? So we have Brother Khan with us to explore that. Okay, welcome. Om Shanti.
Good morning. Good morning. Everything okay? Yep. Let's have some silence together. Best way to start. What to do in silence. You can close your eyes, keep them open however you want. But just become aware of two things. There's the external world happening, the world of our senses and things, objects, people, the world of our different roles and activities. And there's also the inside world, the inner world, where I'm basically with myself. I can't really take other people inside my world. And the whole objective is actually to balance those two worlds. So just be very, very calm, very kind to yourself. And just as I am controlling my speech, I can control the speed of what I say. I can speak fast, I can speak slow, I can control it. In the same way, I can control my thinking. So just follow these thoughts. I'm the spiritual being inside. I have a body, and I have different roles and activities that I perform through it. Body is my instrument, my vehicle, but I am the driver. So get a sense of that deeper identity. And as I go into a state of more rest, I realize that in fact, when I'm not rushing around, I'm actually peaceful. And even rushing around mentally, I've stopped for a few moments. And I realize that yes, I am basically peaceful. At this moment, I don't particularly have any desires or anything. I feel quite content, feel powerful, more loving. So how is it that internally I can, without much difficulty, go into a state of more peace and calm? Yet I know that the world that I live in is so confusing, so complex. So I see myself, okay, at this moment I see myself as a sort of a point of conscious energy, very calm, very stable, very connected to a deeper dimension. And just knowing that and experiencing that helps me when I get involved in my activities once again. So just again, make sure that you can see the difference between the external world where we act out our parts with others and with physical matter, and the internal state, which is actually I have more control over. Just enjoy that for a few moments and open your eyes more and more, and then gradually come back to the surroundings here. Okay? Good? Is it difficult? It really isn't the same as quantum physics, is it? Who thinks that they are a good person? What? Just a few are putting your hand up. Okay. Who thinks that they are not a good person? Okay, one. Okay. Is there some goodness in you though? Okay. We are both actually. And actually the idea of being good or not so good is relative, isn't it? Depends. It depends. When you're comparing yourself with something worse, you are good. When you're comparing yourself with something better, you are maybe not so good. If I asked you, do bad things happen to you sometimes? Do you know anyone who you think is a good person and something bad has happened to them? Yeah? Such a good person and they had a heart attack. Such a good person, their house was robbed. Such a good person and, they were in a car accident. These things happen. Once I was doing some work, in fact, I had this insight that the way to help the top team at a big telecom company, it's actually the second biggest telecom company in the world, called Telefonica. They own most of the mobile networks throughout the world. I think Vodafone is first and they're second. But we were trying to develop a course, me and another colleague who also meditates, called Leading High Performing Teams, and we were going to offer it to their top executives throughout the world. They've got a corporate university near Barcelona in Spain. And so the insight that I had was, let us help them understand what it means to work in chaos. What is chaos? The world that we live in. Chaos actually is a science. And it's one of so-called new science, understanding complexity, understanding complex systems. And chaos is any system that is dynamic. It means it doesn't stop. It's complex. That means, according to the level of complexity, unpredictable. So anything can happen anywhere, anytime to anyone, for any reason. That's what chaos is. Thirdly, chaos is not linear. It's not one thing after the other. It's all over the place. Anything that's in movement like that will obey what's called the law of entropy. That means the initial power and strength of a system is lost over time. You use it up, like a battery wears out through use. So any system ends up losing its initial energy. And lastly, is the most difficult one, is that chaos is self-organizing. So you look at the universe, anything from an amoeba, which is a single-celled creature, to a galaxy. They're all dynamic, they're not linear, they are complex. Even the single-celled creature, like a bacteria, I suppose, is like as complex as a galaxy in a way. There's so many things happening in a cell. It's like a factory, a miniature factory. And you know what? We've got 30, 40, 50 trillion cells in our bodies. So imagine 50 trillion little factories. Each of them are sort of dynamic, all over the place, complex. Anything can happen anywhere, anytime, and each of them have their rules for organizing. So even if you don't lift a finger, your life will organize itself in a particular direction, maybe not the one that you'd like it. So on one side we think that we are good, yeah? And on the other side we have to deal with everything which is extremely complex. We are programmed to operate with more simplicity, right? We can all understand cause equals effect. Maybe not. If I got this recipe for a chocolate cake and I follow the recipe, it ends up as a cake. Not always. Some people can't even follow recipes, right? But most of us can get it when things are simple. Cause, effect. Wonderful. Now, a complicated thing, actually a complex thing, is when there are lots of causes and one effect. Let's say the atmosphere, the pollution in the atmosphere. How many things are contributing to the greenhouse gases, for example? How many things are contributing to our atmosphere? And we know that the atmosphere is limited. You know how thick the atmosphere is? Our atmosphere? It's the same thickness as the skin of an apple is to an apple. So our atmosphere. It's 20, what, I don't know in miles, but I know in kilometres, it's 22 kilometres, about 15 miles. That's it. 15 miles of skin, right? And we don't have another atmosphere. We've only got one. It's not reinvented. It's not recycled. It's like a big bathtub. So imagine you have a bathtub and just keep on filling it up and filling it up and filling it up and filling it up without cleaning it. And then that's what our atmosphere is. There's no new oxygen. There's no, new hydrogen maybe. No new water even. We don't have new water. Whatever water there is was been there, right? H2O, you don't have hydrogen exploding in oxygen to make H2O anymore. So it's the same water, the same air, the same oxygen, the same everything, and it's only 15 miles thick. And then you wonder why the atmosphere is getting sort of contaminated. It's as if we're filling the bath and keep on filling it without actually changing the water. More or less, I'm being very simplistic here. But then you think, why do we have hurricanes? And why do we have, there's enough scientific evidence around to show that the world is going through all sorts of trials. Seem to be more natural calamities than there used to be. So why, if you've got a city of people, and you could say, let's say half of them are good and half of them are not so good, but even then everyone's affected by a hurricane or an earthquake. But actually we're all involved in the big system and we can't see our involvement. Hand up those who have contributed to making this world more polluted. All of us, right? Yeah, you too. Without even knowing about it, we're doing things which are not so good, without even realizing it. I come from Australia and for a long time it sort of sorted itself out. But the hole in the ozone layer was above Australia. And almost everyone from my generation has skin cancer or pre-skin cancer because there was no ozone. Now, what are we going to do? We're going to blame Russia, America, China, India and everyone else because there's no ozone above Australia. It's very hard. And so people who are good get skin cancer without realizing what they've done. What's the difference between the weight of 1 ton of lead and 1 ton of feathers? What's the difference?
The quantity.
Still the same weight, right? So here we are trying to avoid the heavy stuff, like I said, the heavy bad actions. I wouldn't say any of us are involved in really terrible, bad, heavy actions, right? But at the same time, here we are busily accumulating feathers. A little thing here, a little thing there, a little this, a little that, and they build up over time. So you could easily just say, and I know that a lot of you from an Indian background, you could just say if something bad happens to someone who's good, you would say what? It's just their karma. But that's too pat an answer, sort of. It's a little bit more deeper than that. Each of us has a relationship over a long period of time with others. The people that are part of our family, it's not the first time we see them. It's not the first time we've been with them. In fact, they came into our family because of something in the past that we don't know about. So here we are on the surface thinking that everything's wonderful, but we've got no idea what happened beforehand, right? So there are things, when I say someone is good, it's only relative. You may be good now. Let me tell you a story. There was a couple that I knew in Miami, and they were having terrible problems in their relationship, in their marriage, fighting all the time. I don't know if that's something that you're familiar with. I know that good people have divorces also, right? When I say good, inverted commas good. The average marriage in USA, according to statistics, is about 6 or 7 years. Average marriage. And I got that data from a magazine called Divorce. There's actually a magazine with that name. And so you can know someone who's 40 years old has already been married 3 times. And so the thing is that we don't know where the people who are part of our lives came from, or actually what we had to do with them before. We've got the sort of the surface vision, but we don't see beneath the surface. It's hard to say. People come together and it's wonderful and marvelous, and they like each other's eyes or noses or faces. They like each other's personality, and they fall in love or whatever. These days anything goes, right? But there are deeper reasons why people come together, and we don't know those reasons. So anything, really, in a chaotic system, in a universe where chaos reigns, which means that anything can happen anywhere, anytime to anyone, but actually it's a very high level of order. Chaos is not confused. It's very, very detailed. Anything is detailed. The complexity of any system has some, reason. So if you've got simple, it's easy to understand. If it starts to get complicated, it means there's lots of causes and one effect. The traffic grid in a city is planned in a particular way, and there's a lot of cars on the road at the same time. But there's no way of saying where a traffic jam is suddenly going to appear it just happens, right? So to understand complicated situations, we need to get some specialized help.
But what is the story of the couple of Miami?
Yeah, I'll get there. I'll get there. So you've got all of these things going on, right? And you've forgotten where something came from. So to understand a complicated situation, you need some specialized help. So this couple went to a regression therapist, tried to find out what had happened to them in previous lives that was creating such havoc in the present one. So they went to this person who'd been recommended, apparently quite good. It's a sort of hypnosis. They go under hypnosis and they start to access the registers of previous existences. I don't know how they do it, actually. It's quite fascinating. But then they found out that the husband had been a woman and the wife had been a man. And when that wife, as a man, was with that husband who was a woman, the man raped that woman. I don't know how it was. And then now they're together again to sort it out. And they were sorting it out by constant bickering and fighting and acrimonious and shouting each other, violent with each other and so on. And when they found out what had actually happened, they couldn't look at each other anymore. So they went to sort it out, and they actually somehow or the other did sort it out because they realized what had happened. That's why we are so terrible together. Now, I don't recommend anyone to do something like that. It's probably better not knowing, right? In this case, they hated, after doing that, they hated each other. And you would say, if you look at them individually, oh, they're good people, very good people, you know, at least reasonable people. But then there's something there that we don't know about. So, and let me tell you, when there's like lots of things feeding into one effect, right? Lots of causes and one effect. Let's say a plane crashes. Again, lots of good people on the plane, right? Generally, a plane crash, passengers don't survive, right? So, and it's interesting because you probably go back to to when they were all getting on the plane. There may have been a waiting list, right? And some people fought to get on the plane, and others said, no, there's too many people on the waiting list, I'm not going to hang around. And they, not hanging around, they saved themselves. So, and the people who fought to get on the plane ended up dying. So what is going on here, you know? To understand why a plane crashes, you need experts. You need, okay, what was it? Was it a mechanical failure? Was it a meteorological problem? Was it a human failure? Was it, or all of those things? And they take 6 months to figure it out, or even longer. So you need some specialist help to understand complicated situations. Then you've got complex situations, which is lots of causes and lots of effects at the same time. Like society, legislation, laws, economics, you know, all of the things that the controllers of the economies do, like raising interest rates and playing around with the inflation, employment, unemployment. All of the indicators are there, and they're all happening at the same time. So you're looking at a machine that's, you know, all sorts of things are happening, and all sorts of things are feeding, and all sorts of things are coming out as a result, and we try to manage. So even there, you know, are good people affected by the economy? Yeah? And probably the same, the bad people are also affected by the same economy. You know, if there's the price of gasoline goes up, it affects everyone, the good ones and the bad ones. So this idea of why does that happen to me? I'm such a good person. Actually, it's much more complex than that. Why did that happen to my dear old aunt? She was such a lovely person. Why did she have that cancer that sort of ate away her face or whatever? You know, I'm just exaggerating. But things happen. Because things are complex. And because we're involved. How many thoughts feed into our mental state? Let's say I feel happy. How many thoughts are there behind that happy feeling? Probably stacks of thoughts, right? Is everyone here, this is a very good question, does everyone here remain constant in their mood?
No.
Constantly stable, constantly joyful, constantly okay? Anyone?
No.
No. So this idea of being good is also relative, because you were good last week, but yesterday, you know, and even if you ask somebody, how are you? They say, oh, more or less. Are you more or less, right? Are you more good today than you were yesterday, or more bad today than you were yesterday? That goes up and down. And if we go up and down, why wouldn't our life go up and down? So this idea of the poor innocent person who suffered, and they were such a good and lovely person, look what happened. Lost everything. You know, they invested in the wrong company and they lost all of their money. And such a good person also. It happens. Because at the same time we're avoiding the big problems, we're actually accumulating little ones. And all of those little ones end up having a cost. But it does have a lot to do, there's a whole lot of things involved in something that happens. It's not just the past which is sort of predestining something to happen. The past has an impact. But the present attitude has more of an impact than the past. Definitely. So let's say you've got something. Does anyone have an obstacle plan for next October? Does anyone plan obstacles? No. No. You probably can feel that there may be some problems later on. You don't know exactly what, but no one puts an obstacle in their agenda, right? On that day I'll have a terrible, headache, or on that day I'll break my leg, or on that day I'll, It won't happen, right? It's stupid to think like that. Do you agree? Yes, she agrees. So, obstacles happen, you know why? Do you know why? Because I'm going somewhere. If I'm going from A to B, there's going to be an obstacle maybe. But if I don't go to B, but I'm thinking of going to C and make a change at the last moment, maybe that thing that would have been there is not there anymore. Could be. In fact, there's an expression in England, I don't know if it's an expression in the USA, if you don't have any obstacles, you're not going anywhere. So actually things happen, and it's a chance to check. It's a chance to rethink, it's a chance to reframe, it's a chance to relabel maybe. Take stock. Check your inventory, check your spiritual skills. All of those things should be there. But if I just think, this is a bad thing happened to me, and then I just resign myself to suffering, that's not a very sensible way to act. The thing happened to teach me something, probably. And if I insist on blaming someone else or something else, I won't learn anything. So there's lots of ingredients in a complex state called bad things happen to good people. That's a complex thing. So complex is when lots of things are happening, lots of causes and lots of effects at the same time. But chaos is a much more, I would say, chaos is more than complexity. It's it really is that you can't predict much, and you have to understand how things organize themselves, and you have to understand, the patterns and so on. It's not easy to work with chaotic situations. And poor, simplistic human beings, they think that they can control chaos. What a ridiculous notion. You can't. You can only control yourself. You can't control the chaos. I feel sorry for... I was doing some work in the Ministry of Planning in Brazil. And they're the planning ministry at that time. They had all of the statistics of the country. They had all of the planning and budgeting. They had all of the control of the human resources of the government. So lots of secretariats within the ministry. It was like a mega ministry. And they had the minister with whom I was working. He had a very good team, best team. In fact, one of his main people had been the director at Google One of them was the ex-director of the United Nations Environmental Agency. So he had a very good team to help. But it was very clear that what they had to do was this much, and what they could do was only this much. They had on their plate, they had 250 plans. I'm not joking. 250 different plans. And they would it'll only be humanly possible to do about 40 of them. So which 40? Which 40? That's what I was helping them with. Which 40? And so what do we focus our energy on? When you've got lots of things going on around you, where do you focus your energy? Can you focus your energy everywhere at the same time? Hand up who can do that. Can't. We are simple people. We can maybe focus on 3 or 4 things at the same time, but not hundreds. And that's why it's so difficult to govern a city or a country. We should be merciful for our leaders. Actually, it's completely out of people's capacity. The way the world is these days, no one can fix it. And then when a new person comes in and everyone says, it lasts about 6 months, that honeymoon, right? And then after that you realise, all of those promises and stuff, he can't deliver on them. Doesn't matter which side of the political spectrum they come from, to tell the truth. So, what can I do with my life? Okay, that's the big question here, isn't it? What can I do with my life? There are things, and I just told 2 stories here. We had a very special woman who just passed away in 2020, just at the beginning of the pandemic. She was the director of Brahma Kumaris worldwide, and she was 104 years old, still going strong. Amazing lady. And once she came to Brazil, and Brazil still is a fairly violent country, and so the reporter asked her in an interview, what would you do if someone came and held you up at the point of a gun? What would you do? And she said with so much conviction that the reporter almost shrank listening to her answer. She said, "That would never happen to me. Never I would be in a situation where that sort of thing could get close to my, to get close. I don't live in that vibration, in other words. I don't live in that vibration." And she doesn't. She didn't. The way she used her body, the way she interacted with all things around her and people, it would be impossible to imagine that something like that could happen. And it's true, it wouldn't. She's living at a different vibratory level than most people, let's say, even though that's hard to understand, right? But I saw with my own eyes, I was there a few weeks afterwards, not exactly, but I saw what had happened. We had we have a center in Colombia, right? Many centers, actually. And this was at the time of Pablo Escobar, so there was a lot of violence, and they were blowing up planes and blowing up all sorts of things, and then you had the civil war there. And a lot of drugs and a lot of people robbing others, right? Even holding people up to ransom them was so common. And so there was a sort of atmosphere of fear throughout the country. And we had just moved our center from a smaller place to a bigger place. And everyone, it's like about 20 people that got together to help shift things and take things out of boxes and put them in place and this and that and the other. You can imagine, right? Lots of people together doing the move. And they were unpacking stuff, putting it in place, and then getting the packing material and the boxes and joining them together, putting them out on the rubbish in the street, right? So, when one of our students there who was helping went out, took the rubbish, the latest rubbish, put it on the street, and as she walked in, 3 gunmen walked in with her with a gun in her back, right? They proceeded to make all of those 20 lie on the floor, just like a movie, All of these good people, and then individually they robbed each one, right? And then they proceeded to take things that were sort of around. Actually, they didn't take everything. They could have, and there were things that were so obvious and visible that were valuable that they didn't touch. So later on I was with them. It was like not longer, not too much later than that. Why did they take those things and not these things? And it turns out in this conversation that the things that were taken were exactly the things for which they were not giving too much value. They were using them any old way. And the things that were not taken were the things that they really valued, and the things that they were using in a very, these are the things for the service that we do, these are the things that belong to God, these are the things that we should be very careful with. So the things that they had that consciousness with were not taken. And the things that they didn't have that consciousness with were. It was a pretty interesting case, wasn't it? So the way we treat ourselves, if I don't give too much value to myself, let's say, why would the world value me? Yeah. If I give the wrong value to myself, and I am ostentatious about, like I paraded around, then maybe the world would treat me like that as well. So you look at the way things happen. Does it have something to do with the way you see your own body, or the way you see your own relationships, or the way you see your own connection with the world, or the possessions, or whatever? There is a relation. The way I see things has a determining factor on how that thing progresses in time. It's quite fascinating, but in all of these complexities that we're talking about, and when you say, well, chaos is actually, it's not just lots of things happening and with lots of causes and lots of effects, which is what complexity is, but it's anything can happen anywhere, anytime to anyone, for any reason. That's what chaos is. You can go out on the street and, you drive down the wrong street at the last moment, and I hope it doesn't happen, by the way. But technically it's possible, isn't it? So if I start to forget about all of the bad things that happen, all of the things that you remember, all of the good people that you know, and even yourself, forget about it. From now on, just give value, not in an arrogant way. Give value to yourself. Give value to your body, not in a vain way, but because your body is a very valuable instrument. It's like it's the only car you have. You don't have another car. When people die, we say, well, the soul has left the body, right? What it means is the driver has left the vehicle. So the vehicle was there, but the driver's not around anymore. It's gone somewhere else. And what do we do with the vehicle that doesn't have a driver? We bury it, we burn it, it has no use anymore. It's like a junkyard. But if I start to give value to the body, not in a vain way, but because it's valuable. Use it properly, look after it. Then you're probably diminishing the chance of something bad happening that way, like health problem. Good people have cancer, right? Good people have respiratory problems. Good people have, broken legs. But if I have better care for my body, I will diminish the risk. Won't eliminate the risk, but I will diminish the risk. Connected to my family. If I give value to the people that are around me, but not in an attached way, this is mine, these people are mine, these are mine, right? Like a mother hen or a I don't know, you can't say father hen, can you? But some fathers are like hens also. But to look after things, not as an owner, but to look after things in the best possible way, as if you were just a trustee, that they have been entrusted to you. This family, this life, these things that are with me, the possessions that I have been entrusted to me to look after in the best possible way. If I do that, I'm not going to say that bad things are not going to happen, but I will definitely diminish the risk. So these are, just some reflections. Because this idea that bad things happen to good people, but you could also say that good things happen to bad people also. Now look at that idiot, he's such a, he's a billionaire, Look at that guy, the way that he treats, or the woman who treats everyone so badly, and they've got everything. They don't have everything. You know what they don't have, probably?
The love of others.
Not happy. And they don't have either other people's love. Maybe be rich physically, but doesn't mean you're rich health-wise, or you're rich in terms of experience of happiness, right? What is the greatest wealth? It's good to have some money, but it doesn't mean that because you have money you'll be actually happy. Happiness is greater than wealth. Have a little bit and be happy, that's the best. Do what you can to diminish the risk, but you may not diminish all of them, because you don't know the long story. Got it? So these are just some tips. If anyone has got any question, I think our sister was going to she was going to listen a bit and come up with a few questions. But it doesn't mean I know how to answer them, right? And then if you also have anything.
Yeah. Anyone wants to ask any question to brother? Yeah, sure.
Okay. Again, I'm sitting up here, doesn't mean I'm the wise one.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah.
It's on. Okay. My question is, what is the role of destiny?
Destiny.
Yeah, and is it that, it's somebody came with their destiny and that's why something happened to them? Or is it just sort of random coincidences?
Yeah. It's a deep question, because, I really have seen it with my own eyes. And I can say on the basis of my own experience that the past does have a definite impact on the present. We can see that in our own lives, but if you take it a little bit further, including other past lives, and the impact of those on the present one, even to the extent of where we're born and why we're born in a particular place with a particular initial condition, that you could say is the effect of the past. So destiny is just the effect of the past on the present. But for the same reason that the past creates the present, what creates the future? The present. So I may be just paying off a past debt, let's say, but I can also be at the same time creating some future reward. Why not? And I don't have to be a victim of fate, right? Because if you say fate and destiny, it doesn't mean that there's something outside of us controlling things like the stars. You know, it was in your stars that something such a thing would happen. Or even they say, at least from the Christian point of view, they say that God is giving us these tests and we have to carry, it's like divine providence, and God has given us this situation that we have to work it out. We shouldn't understand this law, in a way, it is a law, by half. Means that the past created the present, but the present, better used, can do two things. If I use the present better and properly, I can diminish the impact of the past, and I also can create a different future. You know, at any one time, you always got a choice. There's a Greek philosopher, mathematician called Pythagoras. He was fascinated by the letter Y, because can you visualize Y, right? The letter. There's a straight line, and then a divided line. Yeah, got it? So he said this is the letter of decision. To be or not to be, to do or not to do, to go or not to go, to open your mouth or shut up, Those choices are always there. To understand and take the lesson, or to keep on blaming. To be or not to be. But to do that, he said, first of all, you have to be straight. The base of the letter Y is a straight line. Let me get it straight. Let me understand what's there. What are the clear things? And then I can make the choice, right? And I always can make the choice. If I start making better choices in the present, I will change my destiny for the future. I can change both the impact of the past on the present, and I can change my course, right? Instead of going that way, I go this way. Instead of being stupid and blaming everyone, let me take the reins in my own hand and do the best that I can. Then I can change. So don't be fatalistic, right? That's probably the lesson here. That's what I see. This is my karma. What can I do about it? But there are people like that. No, you can first of all diminish the impact of that and do something different. Why not? Yeah?
Just a follow-up to that. So there are
Wait.
kind of a follow-up to that question. So what in case where there is no opportunity even to take of choice, like just because a person is born into a particular, faith or religion which is suppressed, or a baby,
Yeah.
where that opportunity for choice is even not there.
Right.
But the person, that particular individual is subject to injustice. I'm not even talking about good and bad. There is not even a choice for, choosing good and bad, but in spite of that, there is injustice, and we see that all around, right? So it's
Yeah.
very difficult to contemplate and explain that sometimes.
Well, yeah, but you know, people. The thing is that people blame God also. You were born on the streets of Calcutta, and you were born in the royal family of Spain, and it's God who's giving out these cards. No. There were previous choices. This is a difficult thing for us to understand. And if we know someone, let's say someone's born without an arm, it's very unfortunate, but it happens, right? We used to have a teacher in Brazil. He was born without one arm. Something his mother took when she was pregnant. Some drug. So, but you know, he acted and did everything as if he had an arm, you know. He did everything. He didn't miss out on anything. And then you've got people who just break their arm and they're in a worse situation than someone doesn't even have an arm at all. Is that right? We knew some guy who became blind when he was 15. Now, that's probably the worst condition you could have in this world. But, and especially if you go blind after birth, you know, he remembered what he used to see. He remembered now that he can't see anything. So, and he used to come to our center in one of the cities of Brazil. But he didn't allow that to stop him. He went to university, completed his undergraduate, and he got a master's degree in psychology, and then a PhD in education. And he became the coordinator of the activities in his state, of activities for people who have, you know, special needs. So, you know, another person can just just resign themselves, and this is it, this is it, I can't do anything. So it's, again, relative, what I do with my condition. And if we know people who have a sort of an unfortunate condition, we can help them. We can inspire them to do their best. And if they do a little bit better than what they've been doing, they will have a different experience of that condition. And it's a very difficult question to answer, but then you've got people that don't have any problems at all except they think that they do. And of course they become more crippled than a crippled person. So where am I? What am I thinking? What if I'm in a hole, let me think my way out of it. And if I'm out of a hole, let me not think my way into a hole. That's how it goes. And you know, you start to learn to meditate. We're going to have some meditation in a minute. You start to learn to meditate, and you start to reorganize the way that you interact with the life around you, and the people around you, and the conditions around you, and your own progress within all that. You can do it. You can definitely get out of any hole, but you can't get out of your hole feeling sorry for yourself. That'll just dig the hole deeper. Okay? Anything?
We have one question from one of the viewers.
Good.
So, when a bad thing is happening, what is the method or a simple step that should be taken by someone who's a good person at that moment?
Yeah, forget about this good person, bad person stuff. It's all relative. But the thing is, if there's a not so good situation happening around you, you can go with it and let that carry you downwards, or you can step back from it and sort of get a better perspective, a different perspective, a spiritual perspective. Because if you've just got the perspective of your ego, the ego is very small, even though it thinks it's big, right? It's very small. And if you are small and the obstacle is in front of you, it's probably bigger than you. So your perspective is a little thing looking at a big thing. But if you increase your perception of yourself, add some other dimension to what you think you are. For example, I'm not just this person with this name and this body. I'm a spiritual being going through this human experience. I've come from a long way. I'm going to go to a long way. This life here is a sort of a chapter of a whole book. And this situation in front of me is just one page of that chapter. So let me add perspective. Let me add a bit of past, a bit of future to the present situation. If I do that, I'll see more. If I see more, I'll understand more. If I understand more, I can make the better choices. And if I lock myself in and start to feel sorry for myself, oh, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, I am bad, I am bad, I am bad. Why is this happening to me? Why is it? No, that won't help you. It'll just make it worse. So step back, add a bit more perspective, add a more spiritual dimension, and then you'll see the whole thing better, and you make better choices. Got it? Okay.
Thank you, Brother
It's a
Ken.
fascinating topic. We could go on for hours here, but you know what I mean. Let's go and practice something instead of just talking about it.
Thank you, Brother Ken. It was really interesting, and I think now we all know the right recipe to the right thing, right? We won't be using one recipe for the other thing. And there were so many few tips that he gave throughout the session that we will be trying out, right? Not considering we are good or a bad. No, we are a person, and we are going to change our perspective, right? Thank you so much. And now we have Sister Luciana with us, who is going to lead us through the meditation. So Brother Ken, who is the coordinator of all the Brahma Kumari Center in Latin America, while Sister Luciana is helping Brother Ken and taking care of more than Brazil centers, and Brazil is the one place where we have lot of Brahma Kumari centers, so she is helping coordinating all those activities over there. And she has studied sociologist and anthropologist. If I have not said rightly, you can correct me. And she is a Hatha Yoga teacher as well, and practicing meditation too. So she is going to lead us through the meditation. Om Shanti. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you for having your company this Saturday morning. I took 3 main things from what Brother Ken shared with us. So if you are a good person and you are not understanding what is going wrong with you, or something is not favorable, you can understand that or it's past karma, something that you have done in previous lives. So you can change that, changing your attitude and changing your actions. So this is what he shared with us. Second reason, you have to rise your vibration, your frequency, so that whatever bad is in this frequency and you go above with another frequency so that these things don't affect you. And third thing, you can change your attention and value whatever is happening with yourself, with your body, with your objects, so that the things that are important to you, they can survive and can be of good help to you. So it's always good. So let's meditate about this. And I invite you to sit in a very comfortable position, but at the same time, with your back straight so that you feel quite present to the experience. So you can pay attention on your breath so that you can get some help in terms of your concentration. So just observe the air that it's coming in the air that it's going out. When the air is entering your body, your lungs, you can imagine that together with the oxygen, lots of points of light, dots of light are coming into your chest. And when your air is going out, just concentrate that you are cleaning yourself. Any tiredness, any discomfort is going out together with the air. So have some more very deep breath. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling light, exhaling, cleaning yourself. So you feel more present, more concentrated. All the thoughts that are going on in your mind, just observe them. And if your mind goes somewhere else, gently just brings your mind again to this state of presence. You start to feel yourself more calm, more centered, experiencing that you, the living being, is a being of light. Just talk to yourself. I am light. I am a being of light. I am different from my physical body. I am the being that gives life to my body. Experiment that. Repeat that to yourself. I am light. I am the life force in my body. And just feel light every time you have this thought. You feel lighter and lighter. I am the soul. I don't have any weight. I don't have any size. I'm just a being of light. I am. And as I feel that, I experience peace, I experience purity, all my original qualities come to me, because I am in the consciousness of who I really is, who I really am. I am love, real love. I just share this love. I just spread this love in the atmosphere so that the whole gathering is immersed in this feeling of peace and this feeling of love. Real love is to be given. Love that it's not real is the love that people want just to take. I just radiate peace and love. And with this, I feel so happy and so powerful. Real happiness, not depending on anyone, not depending on any object. I am a being of light. I am a being of peace. I have lots of qualities to share with everyone. I feel so light that around me there is an aura of light, as if I am in a world of light. Some golden light around me, as if I am in a different dimension. All the problems, all the struggles are behind, because I am in this dimension of silence, this dimension of quietness. Wonderful feeling of being in a world without any problem. For some moments I am completely immersed in this ocean of light, spiritual light, silent, quiet. And I recognize that in this world of light, there is a beautiful being, like a spiritual sun, the most powerful being, the divine light. I just come close to this spiritual sun, and I open myself to receive his rays. First ray that I receive from him is the ray of benevolence. He sees each one of us in our perfect form. He just sees our goodness. He doesn't see our shortcomings and our defects. I'm open to his love, unconditional love. I am open to his mercy, to the courage that I can receive from him. And I can get all the qualities that I need the most in this moment of my life. What do you need the most? Sweetness, tolerance. You can just choose what you want. And just stay for some moments immersed in this ocean of good qualities. And now you can also share. You can also donate these qualities, first of all, to your body. Just involve your body in light, pure light. And spread this light to your family, to your home. Spread this light to our city, to our country, and to the whole universe, as if you are embracing the whole universe in light. Let's just stay in silence for some moments, just experiencing that you are donating this light. As you give, you also receive. Take a deep breath. Prepare yourself to come back. And just keep this feeling with you during your whole day with everyone that you meet. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Thank you, sister. It was a beautiful experience. I hope you must have experienced that same, right? Okay, so we are just reaching to the closer of the session. Now, Brother Can and Sister Luciana will give you two things. One is a small piece of a sweet which is prepared in God's remembrance. We call it as an Tholi. And you will get one small card which we call it as a blessing card. Is the speciality or the virtue that you get it from the God. And in the beginning, you remember I mentioned that Brother Can has written 19 books. Out of that, 2 books, New Raj Yoga, New Beginning, and this is another, The Ultimate Frontier. This book has a meditation CD also in it. So these books are available. So if you want to take a look or buy it, you can reach out at the back. Ushers are there who can help you. And few quick announcement who came here for the first time. So in this center, on day-to-day basis, what type of service that we are offering. So every Tuesday evening, 7:30 to 8:15, we have experiential meditation. During that time, initial 15 to 20 minutes, we explain you about different topics and then lead it to the meditation. And all the different topics are there outside on the TV display. So if you want to take a look, if you like anyone, you can come and enjoy it. At the same time, every month, third Sunday evening, 6:30 to 7:30 p.m., we call that as a World Meditation Hour. So basically what we do is, it's open for anyone. Anyone can come and join. And this both program which I mentioned so far, available on Zoom and as well as it's available in person too. So if you want to come here and experience, most welcome. If you cannot make it here in person but wanted to join on Zoom, so Zoom details are also there at the back. So during World Meditation Hour, collectively we sit together and spread the vibration of peace around the world. So if you want to contribute to that, you are most welcome. Come together. At the same time, when I'm looking at the little ones, it reminds that every month one Sunday we do have children's classes here. So this time it is on 18th June. Timing is 11 to 12:30. Again, this is also displayed at the back on the TV. If you still need more information, we can help you out. And this time the topic for the children is staying focused. I hope you will enjoy it. And this children's session happens in 3 different age groups, 5 to 8, 9 to 12, and 12 plus. So like that. Okay. Thank you so much. And now one by one. Yeah. Okay, on June 29, we have Sister Usha who is visiting from India. She is going to have one session over here. So that detail is also there at the back on the TV display. And the timing is 7 to 8:30 in the evening for that program. And if you want to know more about our upcoming events and anything, so you can get registered your email address. So for that we have the registration at the back. You can provide your name and email address so that we can notify you for any further events in the upcoming year. Okay. Thank you. Okay, and Usha Ben's topic is again interesting topic. Let me tell you, the topic is sleep well, live well. Okay? Yes, sleep well. Thank you. Om Shanti.
She lives in our headquarters in Mount Abu, and she's considered one of our 5 main teachers in India that give programs on TVs and interviews. So she's quite prominent.
Very good.
If love were a bird, I would stroke her bright feathers. Then I'd watch her fly free, cross the still of the dawn. And if peace were a mountain, we'd gather around her to bathe in her silence, her power, her call. If wisdom could sing or whisper his secrets, Surely wisdom will grow like a flower in bloom. The seed has been planted and tended and watered by the prayers of the hopeful and the tears of the brave. We long to return to that place of still waters and sit on the banks under some shady tree. In my mind, I can see it, I hear it, and I feel it. And love, peace, and wisdom are all that we need. Some call me a dreamer, some will call me a seeker, one who follows the stars on a quest for the truth. But every believer holds a deep hidden memory of a time when the earth was a flower in bloom. We long to return to that place of still waters and sit on the banks under some shady tree. In my mind, I can see it, I hear it, and I believe it. And love, peace, and wisdom are the three golden keys.
The freshest rain could never bring the change of heart that you have brought in me. The sweetest song could never say the words of love I want to say to you. I wait upon this sunlit space, my one, your voice so gently calling. You wait, your heart is opened up so wide to catch the love that's falling from my eyes. The deepest sea could never fill the empty parts that you have filled in me. The strongest force could never break the link of love that you have showed to me. I wait upon this windswept place, my one. My heart is flying, soaring. You wait upon your golden throne of light. Your voice so gently calling me to your land. The darkest clouds could never dim the orb of light you've planted in my mind. The hottest wind could never dry the well of hope that you have poured in me. I wait upon this sunlit space, my one. Your voice so gently calling. You wait, your heart is opened up so wide to catch the love that's falling from my eyes. I wait upon this windswept place, my one. My heart is flying, soaring. You wait upon your golden throne of light. Your voice so gently calling me to your